Welcome back to Just Talking. We have a great show for you today. Why? Because we have the one and only Grace Chapa from Miss Kenosha 2024. Grace, nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start off. So, how did you first hear about the Miss Kenosha Scholarship Pageant?
So my first introduction into the Miss Kenosha Scholarship competition was actually through meeting a Miss Kenosha, Jenna Zion. So she is just like a real life princess. So when I met her, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But I never thought that this competition was something, that was for me. And a couple months later, she reached out and asked if I had ever thought about it. And that's really what planted the seed into trying this for the first time. This was my first scholarship competition in this organization. And so I really have to shout out Jenna for encouraging me to try this and get out of my comfort zone.
You heard about it, you got involved. How did you prepare for the pageant?
So the Miss Kenosha directors did a great job of preparing us for every aspect of competition. And the rehearsals were so much fun. So we got to practice our dance routine, our walks, and get to know the girls. So I felt very well prepared for Miss Kenosha. I also practiced my choreography in my dorm room with my friends. Shout out to Skylar and Juliana. I said, you guys are the judges. I want you to be as strict as possible. And, if I'm not smiling enough, if I'm not, really putting on a show, I want you to let me know. So they helped me prepare. I didn't have any coaches or anything like that.
So then, for maybe those who don't know, there's also a platform that the contestants choose. What did you choose for your platform?
Yes, so my platform is Better Together, Diversifying Higher Education, and it's all about illuminating higher education as a tool for self-empowerment, as a tool for equity, and yeah, it's inviting everyone to the table that is higher education. So as a future educator, this is very important to me. I was inspired by my work with the Urban Teacher Preparation Program. Shout out to Dr. Williams. And with my work with the Step to College program with it, which is a college prep camp that I go to every year in New York. So this year I taught a Spanish course there. So they really influenced me. It wasn't hard to pick a community service initiative because it's just something I'm so passionate about.
Is that something you're going to do in the future, is be an educator?
Yes, so I'll be student teaching in the fall. So some KUSD students may have Miss Kenosha as their student teacher, and that's something I'm very excited about.
How cool is that? That'll be really neat as well. So where did you go to school these past years?
Yep. So I recently just graduated from Carthage College, which is where I'm at right now,
I was
with
gonna
the
say,
beautiful lake behind me, right? I also grew up in Kenosha, so I'm a product of KUSD myself. I went to Jeffrey Elementary, Lance Middle School, and Indian Trail Academy. I was in the Med-Sci Academy.
and then what made you decide to go become now an educator, choose that path?
Yeah, so I've always really loved school, and I always felt that, no matter what happened, outside of school, school is where I could really focus and better myself. And so, as a first generation college student as well, my family has always been very supportive and passionate about the power of education. So, I think it's a combination of my own love for school, my very supportive family, who always pushed me to pursue college, and also my love for Spanish language and culture. My grandpa is a Mexican immigrant, and so that's always been something that I really wanted to learn Spanish, and so that's what drove me to take those classes in high school.
Now, I credit people who know a second or they know more languages, and I think that's great. But it's a little tough. Was it hard to adapt to learn that second language, or did it come a little natural to you?
Yeah, so they actually say that to speak another language is to have another personality. And so I always joke that my personality in Spanish is much more shy. I'm not as funny yet, but I'm working on it. I think, having an immersive experience, like going abroad, for example, is really the best way to master a language. And so I was really fortunate to go to Sevilla, Spain for a semester and live with a host family there. So that was incredible.
All right, back to the Miss Kenosha pageant. Also, a talent. There's a talent portion to Miss Kenosha. What did you choose to compete?
So my talent was French horn, which is a pretty unique talent, in the Miss America organization. And yeah, I've been playing horn since I was in fifth grade, and I love it. I love being a part of a band and making music with my friends. So it was really a no-brainer what my talent would be.
Bandorama. I tell you, and there's a lot of popular, events, musical events that go on throughout the Kenosha. So that's great that you were a part of that and still continue with that. Because yes, maybe I'll let the audience know I was at the Miss Kenosha pageant. I do remember the French horn performance, and you did a phenomenal job. You did a really, really great job on that.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
and then and they do the Q&A, question and answer, where they can basically ask you anything or everything. How do you prepare for something like that?
So, this is something where I'm going to say, do as I say, not as I do. Uh, I did go into the onstage question with no practice, no preparation. My directors, my friends and family said, you know what, Grace, you're good at interviewing. Just say whatever is on your heart, say what comes to mind. And so that's what I did. So I would give advice to others, to future Miss Kenosha's and title holders to prepare. Uh, but the truth is I did not prepare for the onstage question.
And then there's also the evening gown. Look, again, very beautiful with that. What is there a certain like colors that you have to pick? Is there guidelines for evening gown? How does that work?
There aren't really any guidelines other than, it's better to be a floor length gown. And I actually got my gown at a prom store in Illinois. So it was a prom dress. It was on sale. I love a bargain. And yeah, I really loved that one because it's this beautiful light blue dress and there isn't any rhinestones, there aren't any feathers. It's really just a beautiful gown. And I felt that it really represented, my fashion sense as well, because I love timeless, like classy clothing. And so it was very fun. I did have to learn the proper way to walk in a gown. I felt a little like Gracie Lou Freebush from Miss Congeniality. But yeah, with the help of the Miss Kenosha team, they got me ready.
Then what was going through your mind when they read your name?
Oh my gosh, it's truly a feeling that I can't express in words. I'll try my best, but I felt shock. I felt excitement. I felt hopeful. I felt proud of what I left on the stage. I remember telling one of the other contestants downstairs, while we were changing, I said, you know what, no matter what happens tonight, I'm really proud of what I left on the stage. I truly can say I did my best. And so that was really the best feeling, to see all of that hard work pay off and to hear my friends and family cheering for me. There is a picture where I'm kind of looking up at the sky, and a lot of people have been like, who are you looking at? What was that moment? And that was really a moment for me to just say God is so good, and to thank him for this opportunity. And it truly felt and truly feels like such a blessing and an honor to be Miss Kenosha.
So now that would lead you for preparation for the Miss Wisconsin pageant. How is that different from the Miss Kenosha one? Do you still prepare everything the same? Do you pick the same talents, same gown, or change it up a bit? Let's hear about when you're getting prepped for Miss Wisconsin.
Yeah, so the state level competition is definitely a little bit elevated. It's the same kind of competition, similar prep. I definitely prepped more for Miss Wisconsin. These are the best of the best. And so we got all new gowns, which was really exciting. We went to Dressed in Time, Shell's Bridal, and I even got my interview suit from Bjorn's downtown. So it was really great to support some local Kenosha businesses. And I truly felt like the most beautiful woman in the world wearing those clothes. So shout out to them.
Miss Wisconsin, isn't that like a week-long event or close to it? I know that.
Yes, it is a week-long event. So the first couple days, you're meeting the other contestants, and I truly made a lot of friends that I think I'll be friends with forever, which was something that I didn't expect, but it was the most wonderful surprise. So the first few days we bonded, we mini golfed, we did a service project where we built picnic tables. So imagine, 30 pageant girls in construction goggles and gloves with drills, and it was great. It was so much fun. And then, yeah, as the week goes on, you start to participate in the preliminary rounds of competition and your interview. So you really are on in game mode the whole week.
So let's hear about it. How did you place?
Yeah, so I did not make the top 11, but it's totally okay. There are no hard feelings. I love
Give me their phone number because I need to call someone.
Yeah, I mean, the competition was steep this year. We had so many amazing, talented young women. And so I was really happy to cheer on my friends who did make the top 11, like former Miss Kenosha, Willow Newell.
Well, congratulations on even competing in the Miss Wisconsin because it's quite a challenge, and I'm glad you did it. And I think everybody's been pulling for you for all the throughout the Kenosha community. But let's talk about for events that you were at, local events throughout the Kenosha community, this past summer. Let's hear it.
So one of my favorite events that I went to this summer was the Kenosha Kite Fest. And I had never been before. It's been going on for a very long time. And, it was great to see so many families out there bringing their kites. There were professional performances as well, people who came down from Canada. So that was a lot of fun. I also had the opportunity to start a velodrome race, which I had never been there either. That's one of the best things about being Miss Kenosha is just being invited to all of these awesome events and these spaces that I otherwise probably wouldn't have been invited to. And so it's been a lot of outdoor events, some golf outings too, some very hot days. But yeah, definitely been busy.
Were you in the parade?
I was, yes, the Kenosha and Summers Parade. That was a lot of fun.
For the national anthem, do you play it on your French horn?
Yes, I do. That's actually something that people have asked me to do quite a few times. And it's always funny. I'm like, oh, I'm not a singer, but I can play it on the French horn. And so I usually bring in my friend Lainey Clawan, who is a French horn player at Carthage as well. And we do a duet just because on an instrument, if you're just playing the notes without any harmony, it can be a little, not have the same effect as, Whitney Houston singing it. So having that second person and adding those harmonies is really nice.
Is there any upcoming events that we could see at that you can share with us?
Yes, so there is a Senior Olympics event tomorrow that I will be at with Jenna Zion and Miss Racine Christel. And then there will be the Kenosha County Fair. There's a parade and a crown, cookies and crowns event that I'll be at. So those are the next two coming up. But yeah, I would love to hear from more people in the community. I truly say that as Miss Kenosha, I belong to the Kenosha community. So when you call on me, I'll be there.
Why would you encourage others to get involved in the Miss Kenosha Scholarship Pageant?
Yes, Miss Kenosha and the Miss America Opportunity is one of the largest scholarship organizations for women to go to college. And so I would just encourage young women to, even if it's something that you haven't considered before, even if you think you're not the traditional pageant girl, just try it and be yourself because that's what the judges are looking for. They're looking for authentic women who have skills in many different areas. And it's helped me pay for college. So that's why I would recommend it to others.
And if they want to get involved, do they go like on a website or social media? How can they reach out or have any questions?
Yes, so there is a Miss Kenosha Scholarship Organization, Instagram and Facebook. And so I'm always posting on there, and there will be more information coming soon. Our Miss Kenosha competition usually is in February, so there's plenty of time to think it over and to start prepping now.
Okay.
More information coming soon. Stay tuned.
Well, I want to once again congratulate you on being Miss Kenosha. You're an excellent Miss Kenosha. I know the sun's going down, so we'll wrap it on up. Well, we thank you so much for talking with us today, and thank you so much for again being Miss Kenosha Race Chapa 2022.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.